Hello, hello. This is Koi from Marie of Gratitude, giving a peace of mind to that one person at a time. I always like to set the intentions before I do the readings, but since I'm recording it now, I'm going to repeat it again. That I intend to reach at least that one person to help them understand and give them that peace of mind, give them that bigger perspective, and give them some light and what is the word that I'm looking for? It just slipped out of my head. Um, Confirm any situations that they may be dealing with. Now, this is a general reading. We're going to be talking about what it is, standing in your power. This may not resonate with everybody because this is a general reading, but for those that do, I really hope that this allows you to see and understand from a new perspective of what may be holding you back from standing in your own power. I am an overall creative person. I believe everybody is creative, but a lot of us don't know how to tap into that energy. And I love to help people tap into that creative energy and help them stand in their power, actually. So, creative power is very powerful because we are all creative. We all create energy. You don't have to be artistic to be creative, and that is something that our society has really tried to put on us. Like, we're all creating something. We may be creating bad vibes. Sometimes it's really not about what's being seen and tangible. Sometimes it's about the energy that we're carrying. And that really plays a part on how we're creating things. So I like to help people just tap into their creative niche to help them just really understand who they are as a person on the inside and really help them grow from that, And, I'm a creative person. I have a graphic design background. I paint, I make arts and craft, everything that you can think of creatively. I'm here for it, and I love to do that. And people that do that and already know that they have that ability, I'm here to do that too, because creativity is a skill. And if you can continue to use that skill, then it will expand, Some people have artistic skills and talents, but we're not really talking about that, And if you do have that, sometimes you do still need help to expand on that. So without further ado, let's get into how you can stand into your power, right? So again, this is a general reading, but we're going to tap right into this. So what we have here is the Empress card. This card represents why you don't often stand into your power. Now, the Empress card really is about abundance, growth. You see how the heart is really growing these big roots and big trees, and the Empress she stands in her power by knowing that she has a lot of self-love, and she tends to herself and cares for herself and nurtures for herself so she can give to others. And she knows that if she does not do that, she has no room to give to other people. And if you can stand in your power, is by giving you that self-love, knowing that you have worth. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of giving to other people, but you must tend to yourself at this time. The reason why you don't do that is because, self-worth. Again, you feel unloved. For some reason, on the back of the fatter, cannot talk. Some reason of the matter of fact is that you've made yourself think that you're unlovable. You've made yourself think that you can't have what you want. And that really damages the worth, that damages your self-esteem. And ways to do that, to build up that self-esteem, to build up that self-worth, is really looking at yourself and figuring out the things and really just loving yourself as a whole. You have to dig deep, though, deep down into your heart, deep down in that heart center, and really look at yourself with truth. And if you can't do that, you can ask for help. It's okay to. But make sure that that person makes you feel at ease, makes you feel comfortable and makes you understand really bringing out the beautiful aspects of yourself. Because sometimes when we don't have that self worth and self-love and self-esteem, we can be deceived. We can be manipulated into thinking that we are, not good, thinking that we're, naive and all this stuff. Because people like to, people that are master manipulators, people that are really, I don't want to say evil, but we do have people that are evil. But people that really have like mask their own insecurities, they like to manipulate and feed off of other people that are really on their low vibes and the same thing. But the only thing different between those two type of people is that person feeds off that energy and gets a kick out of hurting somebody or taking advantage of somebody, right? And this is what the Seven of Swords represents. And this is also why you are scared of channeling in that power, because for some reason, i.e. the self-worth and the self-loathing and the not having great self-esteem, you've been manipulated a lot. And that's why, though, you haven't really been able to, if you haven't been able to really work on yourself and understand yourself more, then that's pretty much why, though. It's because you just didn't really develop that skill of really owning yourself. It's not conceited to think highly of yourself. It's just having high self-esteem. But I can tell you one thing. I know for me, every time I used to talk highly about myself, I can remember this as a kid. People would really look at me like, oh, like, you think you better than? Like, no, I'm just saying what I can do. But, me being an adult now, me being older, is like, those people had insecurities. And for some reason, they thought that they can throw that shit on me and make me feel like I was like small. But they were really insecure. They were uncomfortable with somebody of my stature, I guess, or maybe looking at me as this person on a high pedestal, and made them feel uncomfortable. And I started talking good about myself, and that's something that I carried with for a long time. And when you do that, that diminishes your self-worth and your self-esteem. And people putting you down definitely diminishes your self-esteem. And this card, like I said, represents, why are you scared of channeling that power? Because people have told you that you ain't. That you're not powerful a lot of times. And like I said, this card does talk about deceit. Because if you look at this, right, this shows a fence, but this really is six swords underneath, but they're only showing one. And this also kind of, from a different perspective too, is that this like kind of reminds me of stuff in like the roots, right? Like this is the earth underneath, and like there's roots, and you really haven't tapped into any of this, and you just show people just this one sword, but you really have like so much different talents and abilities, but you just for some reason want to hide that from people. But it's not some reason, because you haven't even looked at it yet, or you just don't know how worthy and how great of a person you are. And you really need to own that. And you need to show that. Because if you show the Seven Swords, it's not going to hurt people. Hurt people are afraid of that at times. You're not going to hurt people. You're going to give them life. You're going to give them a new perspective. You're going to give them strength. And once you understand the power that you are, the powerful being that you are, the great being that you could be, that you already are, you're going to show more. It's funny that I said that thing about being conceited, because again, sometimes people really think that being confident is conceited. And conceited really is about just being deceitful to your own self. You know, giving that false perspective of that you're good and you can do all these things, but you're just all talk. You're not really showing. And a lot of times people talk and talk, but it really is true when you can actually do it and show and prove, right? Walk your talk. And if you can do that, then you're showing your confidence, you know? Then you're showing that, hey, I told you I could do this. But a lot of times you don't have to tell people that, hey, I can do this. I told you so. It's not about I told you so. It's about just doing it, showing, improving, and moving on to the next. And this card represents a way that you can stand in your power, right? Ace of Cups really represents self-love. Again, loving who you are as a person, really tapping into your emotions and figuring out why you feel certain ways, and, you know, being really truthful with yourself. This kind of looks like a martini cup to me, but this kind of also is like a shape that's holding space for your emotions. Cup cards in the tarot represent your emotions, and this cup is full, all right? And when you have a full cup, that's almost like a full heart, you know, beating lively, beating healthy, and being lovable. And a lot of times we've been told to love other people, right? Treat other people the way you would treat yourself. But many times people don't really know how they would treat themselves. A lot of times they treat themselves pretty shitty. And then it shows that. But it's up to us to understand why we're not loving ourselves enough. It's not being conceited to love yourself. You know, it's not being selfish to love yourself. What's selfish is that you're loving yourself so much on the extreme point that you don't care about other people. And that's really what being selfish is, being an asshole. You know, an asshole is somebody that does not give a fuck about anybody's emotions, doesn't care about what other people are saying. And that's more of an on the extreme part, right? But if you can come back to the center balances things. Being balanced with your emotions and understanding, you know, one side to the other, that's what makes it whole. That's what holds a balance point of view and perspective. And again, it's not being selfish. It's tending to your own needs, because everybody has needs to make themselves feel whole, but not at the cost of putting down somebody else. All right? So this card says what you could accomplish if you can stand in your power. This is the sun here. The sun gives life to all living things. The sun gives radiance. The sun gives vitamins and things to bring life to things that are already live and are growing, right? The sun illuminates things, and the sun brings joy as well. You know, if you've ever had a really nice day, you feel good, right? And that's one thing that is going to happen if you really start really just owning your own power. It's going to bring a lot of love to yourself and a lot of joy, you know, a lot of happiness. And what, you know, you really can create your own happiness. Don't look at other people to make you happy, because a lot of times when you rely on other people to make you happy, like, they don't really know, you know what I mean? And that's just a fleeting moment, you know? And if you depend on people to make you happy, that's something called codependency. And it's like you are really depending on others, like, oh, well, he makes me happy when I see him. Yes, but everybody's not going to be there all the time. It's up to you to really make yourself happy and make yourself whole. And other people making you happy at that moment in time, that is icing on the cake. That is sprinkles on the ice cream. but you make the ice cream. All right? So, something you should be more confident about. So, this card here, Seven of Wands, is really about going after what you want, right? See this fire right here? If you pay attention on the fire, then you know automatically you can get right there. But if you start looking at this right here, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't know, I don't know, this bridge is looking pretty shaky. I don't want to fall into this, whatever the heck this is. I don't know if it's sand, water, or what, but it's looking crazy, right? But know that you have the ability to move forward. You have the strength, the agility, the courage to just move forward and go after what you want. You do. But that's something that you need to own and be confident about, that you have that ability. Again, you have that ability to make yourself happy, you know, and not depend on anybody else. And that comes from confidence. Confidence is very much about, you know, doing what you feel is good. Not worrying about if other people are going to like it. It's worrying about that. It's not worrying about other people like it. It's knowing that you like it. And, you know, if others don't, whatever. If others do, okay. But really having that confidence within yourself, and that's going back to the self-worth. So how can you be more confident in knowing that the universe has your back, right? How can you be more confident, right? It's setting intentions for yourself and really watching them grow. The Seven of Pentacles in the original deck talks about hard work, diligence, and perseverance. And this reminds me of the same thing pretty much too. You know, you can persevere through any shaky, wobbly, hard times, right? Here too, I like to say it's definitely about setting intentions though. When you grow seeds, right, you know what you're growing. You know, if you don't know what type of seed you're growing, then anything can come out of that, any outcome can come out of that growth, right? But if you know that you're planting apples, you know you're going to get apples and they're going to grow, and you know how to cultivate the soil for it. You know how much water you need. You know all this stuff. But if you just throw seeds anywhere and expect them to grow, they're going to grow however they want. They may not even grow. You know, gardening, that's another creative thing that people don't think is creative. But it has a lot to do with nurturing, understanding, you know, how much water needs to be put in, how much sunlight they need to get, you know? It goes a lot into gardening and growing things. And people that know that really have that green thumb, right? But other people that don't even, some people, I've met somebody that she said, I'm not really creative. And I said, well, what do you like to do that makes you feel calm? And she said, oh, I love to garden. I said, well, that right there is something that you're creative. You know, that's something, because if it's something that really makes you feel good and calm, that's tapping into your own element. That is, and that's one thing that I love to say about creativity. It taps into your soul, your uniqueness of who you are. And when we don't tap into our soul and our spirit, a lot of times we don't know. And this is what causes a lot of, you know, ill feelings and self-worth and, why do I keep forgetting that? Self-esteem. Self-esteem is literally, to me, it reminds me of a choo-choo train. That steam, right? That makes that choo-choo go. It says, choo, choo, right? It is, I don't know why, but it always reminded me of that. And it's like you have to feed that that train, that coal, that which produces whatever, you know, and it steams out that train, and it really gives that train the momentum. And that's what I'm trying to say here. If you work on yourself more, if you set intentions for yourself, those seeds will grow, most definitely, hands down. But, you know, if you don't, if you're worrying about watering other people's garden, instead of your own, you're going to always see their garden flourishing and not your own. So really take time out for yourself. Understand your power is within you. And the more that you can work on yourself, the more that you can grow. That's how you're going to grow, actually. Excuse me. The more that you work on yourself is the more you're going to grow. Just like homework when we're in school, right? You work on multiplication all the time. That's how we learned it. The more focus that you put into yourself, the more you're going to get back. But remember to do that with love. Don't focus on the bad things, the things that didn't work out, the things that people told you that made you feel like shit. That's just going to create more ill feelings. But if you focus on love, if you focus on growing and moving forward into something more beautiful, blooming, like that rose, blooming like a butterfly from a caterpillar, then yes, you will grow into something that you never knew that you'd be able to grow into. So I want to pull from my cards that I have, my gratitude attitude cards. Sorry about the cameras, guys. I'm really looking forward to do this better. But I don't know. I'm learning. That's all I can say. I'm not going to beat myself up. So again, kind of like what I was saying, right? We all have light and dark inside of us. What matters is the part that we choose to act on. I don't think I need to say any more. I'm going to leave it at that. Please recognize who you are. And by recognizing your strength, by recognizing your power, is by going within and looking inside. Thank you again. If you like, share, subscribe, that does a lot for me. The more that you like, the more that you comment on these videos, the more other people get to see this. So, subscribe if you're looking forward to more. If you really like the style, if you like what I'm bringing and showing to the table for a general reading, and you want a personal reading, contact me. I'll link below how to contact me. And yeah, let's really just tap into our power, because I really feel like this is a time and a moment right now as I'm making this video that we really need to look within ourselves to really recognize the beauty that we really have and the power that we can obtain. But it's the power for ourselves. It's not to use over anybody else. It's to use to grow and expand on the person that we need to be for the best and the highest and the greatest of good. So without further ado, that is my message, and look out for more. Stay tuned. Also, if you want to take a look at my gratitude attitude cards too, that help you reflect on, who you are and just give time to yourself, that is something that I have too for sale. I made these cards, and check them out. The link is below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.